Lost on Lost Season 2, baby!
Hell yeah!
We've watched Seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Lost, and we've learned a lot.
Did we?
And we've learned to love Jack, Kate, Sawyer, Boone, and Claire.
Did we?
But now it's time for Seasons 4, 5, and 6.
That's right, we're still going to talk about the mysteries and mythologies of the island.
And obviously hot tropical hookups.
But now we're going to talk about things like the freighter,
The Others,
Charles Widmore,
The Lighthouse,
time travel,
9/11,
Ronald Reagan,
the Catholic Church,
Titus,
gold chains,
the military-industrial complex,
the prison industrial complex,
the void,
the orb,
and so much more.
So strap on and strap down, because if you thought last season was confusing,
This is going to be so much worse. Or better if you like being lost on Lost. Strap on.
you heard me.
Ooh, welcome everybody to Lost on Lost. Hey, I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined as always by a man who has a co-host with a soundboard, Adam Busher.
That's me. I want everybody out there on Lost Land to say Merry Christmas to my co-host, JP Russell. He has what many would consider to be a prosumer recording solution for the first time in 109 episodes.
And now I can do shit like this.
500 cigarettes.
There we go.
It's the only thing he knows how to do.
Oh, man. Adam,
Yeah.
we have a guest.
Yeah.
Fans of Lost on Lost will recognize the voice of the one, the only, Jack Kelly.
That's me.
You might recognize Jack's voice. Jack's voice is self-admittedly a little different than normal.
Yeah, I was at a party last night. I didn't get home till 2. So I'm almost done with this tea. Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
How does that hit in your 30s?
The tea or going out till 2? Tea's
going
great.
out till 2.
No, it's rough. It's fucking rough. It is not so much the staying out till 2 being the rough part.
Mm-hmm.
It's the waking up the next day and being
Right.
expected to be
Yeah.
a functional human being that
Right.
I'm not as good at.
You should get the next 3 business days off.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's been a couple weeks since it's been straight up like 2 months since we've recorded.
We did a mad dash in fall so that we wouldn't have to do anything over the holidays or the new year.
So it's been 2 weeks for you out there in Lost on Lost Land, but it's been like 2 months for us. So we're sort of getting our feet back under us because not only the holidays, but then like
LA's been on fire.
60,000 acres of the greater LA area burned up in the past 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's real cool. Air quality sucks.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
It's fun.
Hey, Adam, we also had an election.
Oh yeah, that happened in between last time we recorded and
Oh,
yeah.
no.
You just went through a week and a half of below zero temperatures up in
Oh,
up in
yeah, it was like
Milwaukee.
negative 15 like 3 days ago.
Yeah. So
For multiple days in a row. It was not fun.
how have you been coping, Jack? Have you what have you
Yeah.
been watching?
Well, obviously, Severance Season 2 has come back.
Yep.
So I've just been watching that.
How many times have you watched the first episode? JP and I have an over/under on
it?
it. For only the second episode came out yesterday.
Yes, I only got to watch the second episode twice.
Okay. So how many times have you watched the first episode?
I think I watched it 5 times.
Stunning.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I was thinking 3.
5, I think, might be one more than I actually have, but I do have a part of my next rewatch will be watching episode 1 and 2 together.
Sure.
That's something I'll probably do tonight.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay. Adam,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about season 5, episode 12. Dead is Dead. Dead is Dead originally aired on April 8th, 2009. It was written by Brian K. Vaughan and Elizabeth Sarnoff. It was directed by Stephen Williams. Our centric character is Benjamin Linus. It is the 98th episode of the show overall. Dead is Dead covers the time span on island of day 3 after the Ajira crash in 1977, and also days 3 and 4 after the Ajira crash in 2007. JP,
Yeah,
do you have a recap for us?
I think I do.
All right, let's have it.
Now watch this drive.
Alex, it was all my fault. Oh, was it? Oh, was it your fault, Dad? I didn't realize it was your fault. On the island, the writers remembered that this is supposed to be a character show. Ben must atone for his sins. The recently necromanced Johnny Locke is here to help him out. Ben and Locke must summon the smoke monster to judge Ben. My money is that they'll call in the monster using another island cave toilet that's in a closet that's in a closet that's in a closet that's in a cave. In the before times, we see the history between Ben and Charles, but more importantly, we see the costume and makeup department really stretch their budget on young Ben wigs. Desmond's abs of steel may be able to stop bullets, but nothing is going to stop us from talking about Dead is Dead here on Lost on Lost.
Please clap.
I just have a lot of Bush.
I was going to say that's two separate George Bush sound drops in the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
Wow.
Instantly regretting participating in JP's Christmas present.
I too have regrets. You're not the only one.
Oh boy, we start on the island. It is the Hostels camp in 1977.
So I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I have to bring the podcast to a screeching halt.
Oh, if you weren't, I was gonna. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
So I live with a white woman. So the closed captioning is permanently turned on my TV. First thing out of this episode, when Charles is riding by on the horse, it says horse snuffles.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That is not the correct usage of that word and is not something you typically use in context with horses. There is a snuffle pad, which is a different thing. I know a little bit about horses. Snuffling is not a noise that they make, and I'm so mad at whoever did the closed captioning.
I thought that a horse would snuffle, but not when it was moving. Like I thought that was a noise they would make if they were. But that's whickering, isn't it? Like would that be like when they're just like standing there and then they're like.
It's more correct than snuffling.
Okay, but counterpoint. You hear snuffle, and I instantly know the noise. Yeah. If you say whickering, I'm like, the fuck does that? Are we making a basket? What are we doing? Like, I don't know what whickering is.
That's fair.
So, in defense of the closed captioning people, I think the snuffling is fine.
It helped.
It helps.
Snuffling sounds too wet to me. It's like too viscous of a noise.
Wet.
Anyways, back to Lost. Sorry.
Okay, now it's my turn to.
Yes, please.
So I started this episode and instantly was like, "This feels like a joke." I feel like they were like,
I mean, it kind of is.
What's the most bizarre episode we could bring Jack on to talk about? What is the episode that could possess no context to what's going on and will infuriate Jack the most? And I think that's this episode, because from second one, I was literally like, what the fuck is going on?
Don't worry, Jack. We're here to maybe explain.
I was going to say it'll all make absolute sense by the end.
Will it?
Or it won't. And,
will it?
Yeah, and at the end of it, you will have lost an hour watching the show and then probably an hour and a half talking about it. And
can't wait.
So it starts in flashback.
Yes.
The flashback is a continuation of the real-time events of the previous episode.
Yes.
So if you're a chronological viewer, the last episode ends in real time in the present in 1977. And then this episode starts in 1977, but it is considered a flashback because of who we're following, which is Ben, who exists in 2007.
I'm already angry.
I can tell by your face.
I need you to know I did just take a screenshot of the call without your permission ahead of time.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
So Charles comes riding into the Hostels camp on his horse, and he rocks up to Richard Alpert, played by Nestor Carbonell, and he's like, "What are you doing? What have you done? How could you do that?" And Richard's like, "I'm not going to let a little boy die. Yeah, I healed him. I healed the boy." They have like a little fight about it, but then like Charles like sort of acquiesces to Richard and then goes into the tent to see the boy.
But also that boy, not a good actor.
No.
I've made this contention in the past that most children aren't great actors.
I was thinking that too. I was like, well, if this kid...
It's a skill set that develops over time, and so most children can follow instructions, but they can't necessarily act.
Unless you're Haley Joel Osment, you actually were a better child actor than you are an adult actor.
Yeah.
It's like
or if you're Abigail Breslin, who is phenomenal in Little Miss Sunshine.
I tried to the episode that just got done before
Whatever
this.
happened?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to channel my best James Leesky here with notes. My best James Leesky joke is just 9 out of 10 islands choose Ben.
That is a James Leesky ass joke.
That's the only one he gets for the episode. So moving on.
Charles goes in to talk to baby Ben. Ben's covered in fake sweat, and he's recovering from a gunshot wound. He was recently shot by #1 player Saeed Jarrah.
Bam!
Ben doesn't want to go back to the Dharma Initiative. He doesn't want to return to the barracks. He wants to stay with the hostiles.
Once again, I'm trying so hard not to like grind every single thing to a screeching halt, but I don't know what the Dharma Initiative, because it was only barely introduced in the last thing I saw. So I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know why he doesn't want to return. Like, and I just kept thinking, I'm like, this would be a terrible episode to just jump into the show. I just kept thinking the whole time. I was like, if this was your first episode you'd ever seen of Lost, or if you had like fallen off the map for a little bit, you'd be like, I'm out, guys. You're never getting me back.
This is it. Yep. The short version of he doesn't want to go back is like, it's very simple to just boil it down to he doesn't have a great relationship with his father, and his father's part of the Dharma Initiative. But
right.
That's whatever.
I get having bad relationships with your dad. This is not a therapy podcast, but I will just throw that one out there.
So Woodmore's just like, you don't have to live with us to be one of us. Like, we're still going to send you back, but you can be one of us. And then he introduces himself. I'm Charles Widmore.
And this is sort of a casting thing. I think that the guy they got to play younger Charles does look like a younger OC's Alan Dale, but the age gap between young Ben and this actor seems pretty substantial. And then in real life, I don't think their age gap is that big. So we're running into sort of a John Locke and his dad situation where it's like, listen, the actor's the actor. You just got to suspend your disbelief a little bit. Yeah. But I was now in this scene made aware of what the age gap is supposed to be perceived to be between Ben and Charles.
So like if adult Ben, Michael Emerson, is in his 40s, the OC's Alan Dale is supposed to be in his late 60s, early 70s.
Right. And he's in his 50s, late 50s maybe?
Maybe late 50s, early 60s. So we cut forward to 2007, Hydra Island. Jack, this is a little island that's off of the main island.
Oh my god!
Oh, you know that whole time we spent on that one island, Jack? There's actually multiple islands.
No, I genuinely was like, I'm sorry, there's a second island. I was like, there were so many instances in this episode that I was like,
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Ben wakes up to Flock.
Now, we've seen the beginning of this scene before.
Yeah.
It was
the
tail
end of I think, whatever happened. Like, I don't want to piss Jack off any further.
Then why did we invite Jack on the show?
Yeah, I was like, but I feel like you've hit a ceiling. So this isn't John Locke.
Adam, there is no ceiling to my anger.
Okay. Well, so this isn't John Locke. This isn't the John Locke you love and know.
I figured if he got quote unquote brought back to life, he felt so weird.
Yeah.
Like in a weird, that's not John Locke.
Yeah.
Like John Locke that I know and love is weird.
Yeah.
But this was a weird John Locke.
Yeah. This is and I think Terry O'Quinn does a really good job of playing another character wearing a John Locke suit.
Absolutely. But he feels like he's like a hallucination,
right?
And not like an actual person.
Like you need to wait for Locke to interact with other people to make sure it's not a Ben fever dream.
Correct. That's exactly what it was. I was like, is he real? And then they're like, oh no, the fucking weird guy standing out in the lawn. And I'm like,
I was like, oh, you guys see him too? Okay.
We're not all hallucinating here. Fantastic. But I was like, what is happening? And then they're like, anyway.
Yeah. Ben tells Flock that he has returned to the island to be judged for his breaking of the rules. And it's more talk about the rules, and the rules are never clearly explained, and it's whatever. Lost card comes through. Ben goes up to Brahm. They talk about the crate, and they're like, what's in the crate? And they're just like, crate shit? I don't know.
Crazy, mind your business. I forgot how much I hated Brahm.
Yeah, Brahm's super annoying.
This was another instance where I was like, these all feel just like knockoffs of the original character.
Because so like the second plane crash. Excuse me, plane landing. Captain Frank J. Lapidus successfully landed a Jura 316.
Lapidus is a rough last name.
His first name is Frank, but they insist on calling him Lapidus.
Lapidus is a rough last name.
Because, like, it's so close to Lapinus.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's more of like a Xenon reference of like Zetus Lapidus.
Okay.
We're talking Disney Channel original movie, baby.
Yeah, sure.
So that is just where my brain kept going, and I'm like, I don't like this last name because this is not what I'm thinking about. And that movie predates this episode, so they had a chance to rename that man, and they did not.
But yeah, so second plane, Jira 316. These are the 316 survivors. Caesar comes up.
Boy, I thought Caesar was going to have more of a role in season 5.
No, knockoff Saeed. They don't have time for knockoff Saeed. They got time for knockoff Kate, and they've got time for knockoff Sawyer, but they don't have time for knockoff Saeed. So they're gonna knock Saeed's knockoff off. Yeah, they have a little conversation about John Flock.
And he's just like standing and like looking out at the ocean, like
with his pants rolled up and his socks off, just doing like beach shit, like vacation.
This show continually reminds me of like how awful specifically men's fashion was in the late aughts.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's perfect.
Oh, it's rough.
In John Locke's defense, he's wearing somebody else dressed him for a funeral.
That is fair. Yeah, they put him in a coffin wearing that.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay,
you're
guys,
not wrong.
I have dressed people.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
Funerals.
That's true.
They do not have to look bad.
That's fair.
Lore drop. My job 10 years ago. It's been 10 years since I had this job. I was a funeral assistant. So it's like I have seen so many dead people and like what they're dressed in. You don't got to dress them bad. Tip to everybody: don't dress your dead relatives in ugly clothes. Don't feel pressure.
It's in my will that I have to be put into a Motley Crue t-shirt and denim vest. So.
Yeah, I do need to be in the "Fish Fear Me, Women Love Me" t-shirt. So yeah.
Ben starts sowing discord with Caesar. He's like, "Yeah, isn't John Locke weird, man? Whoa, what a weird guy. Like, we should be buddies, and everybody should." And it's all like just typical Ben shit. And Caesar's like, "Don't worry about it, baby." Pulls out the scattergat.
I got a sawed-off shotgun in my fucking messenger bag. I was like, "Hey, I gotta like Caesar again." All right,
back on board with Caesar.
Oh, I did have a note here. Oh, he says that I killed him, and in the words of Adam Busher, that was weeks ago.
Why are you talking about old shit? We cut to a flashback to, I believed it was the mid or late 80s. I looked it up on Lostpedia. It is 1988. Ben in a Ben-ass wig.
Yeah.
And a little blonde boy named Ethan.
Oh, man. Even then, he's like, I'll kill the lady.
My only real note in this scene was like, okay, so Ethan's always been a psycho.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get away from the top of this scene,
yeah, sure,
I want to point out, as somebody that does not understand all the time jumps that we're making and all the different time periods we're jumping through.
Did the wigs help? You just know that they were different time periods.
No,
did the wigs help?
No. I was like, the wig didn't do anything. I just thought this man suddenly had bad hair. And I was like, okay, so now there's just this child who's here. Great. Like, I didn't know that we jumped back 30 years. Yeah. I was so confused.
That has to be the metric for which we now measure the show. Does the wig help?
The wig made it worse.
So they're outside of Danielle Rousseau's beach camp. She's the last of the French research team. The rest of her compatriots have all died at this point. She's the only one left. Ben comes in with a gun and he's supposed to kill her. And she's like, "What are you doing? You're the one who's infected us." And he sees a baby.
Infected. What? Infected with what?
That never gets explained. Well, don't worry about it. Put it out of your mind.
Shit. Okay, well.
He hears a baby crying. He's not going to shoot this woman in front of her baby. He decides instead to kidnap the baby.
Which, it's very parallel to his situation, right? Richard agreed to take him in because he wasn't about to kill a child. Ben, same sort of thing. He's not about to kill a child, which is interesting because they talked about saving Ben's life was going to basically turn him evil, and here he is doing probably the one damn decent thing he ever did in his life.
Yeah.
Wait, is steal a woman's baby?
Yeah. Well,
he kept her alive and just kidnapped her child is the one decent thing Ben did?
All right, when you say it like that, Jack.
Okay, I know we're not a trauma podcast, but
We're
he's just
not?
repeating the cycle of trauma. Oh, I was kidnapped. Well, I guess I got to kidnap another kid. Come on, JP. This may be the most decent thing he's done, but it's
Still not great.
it's still not great.
Every time you hear the whispers, run the other way. That is Ben's final warning to you, so as he fucks off with baby Alex.
Which that still makes no sense because we later find out what the whispers are, and like that doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't it be, hey, whenever you hear the Dharma or the other folk come and go the other way, who gives a fuck about the whispers?
Right, the whispers out of dangers on the island are like the least dangerous fucking supernatural thing that exists.
I love how over this show Adam is, and he has a Lost podcast.
Well, we've only got 15 episodes to go. So.
He's so over this fucking show.
No, this is what I've discovered in rewatching this. Season 5 is fucking frustrating.
Oh, see, I love season 5. I am all in on season 5, man.
Yeah, okay, cut back to Hydra 2007. Ben finds a pic of himself and Alex in his old office. Flock comes in and confronts Ben about the killing. So Flock's like, word is you killed me. The fuck? And Ben's like, had to, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, actually.
Like, you were part of the plan.
Fucking worked. We're all here.
Yeah.
Couldn't resurrect you if you were still alive. Had to die first.
Ben's also course correcting here pretty quickly because
Yeah.
when Locke first woke him up, he was like, "Oh, I knew this was. I was gonna put money. This is gonna happen." Now he's had some time to sort of process and think a little bit. He's like, "Well, yeah, I had to kill you, dude. Like, come on, get with it."
Flock's like, all right, well, it's all good. I was hoping for an apology, but I guess I'll go fuck myself. I am gonna help you with your thing, your judgment thing. I am more than willing to help a bro out. So let's.
I'm so excited to do this for you, friend.
For you, to you, for you, not to you.
With you.
Did I say
you.
to you? I didn't mean that. I meant for you. Cut to the next morning. Ben and Flock are getting ready to leave. They pull out a canoe. And Caesar's like, hey, no, I'm in charge. You're not going anywhere, weird dude number 1 and weird dude number 2. You're staying right here while we suss all this out. And Ben's like, nah. Blast him with a stolen shotgun.
Yeah, he does not need Caesar anymore. And blam, neither does the show.
Thanks for coming out, Caesar. Got about 12 episodes.
That's a good chunk of money in 2009.
Yeah, you give him a little guest star.
That's longer than some fucking series regulars get on shows nowadays.
Shit, Caesar probably got paid more for this season than Desmond did.
For as much, unless we're missing something, which we might be, Caesar, given a name and time on screen, has done nothing other than just kind of be someone for other people to bounce lines off of.
We are missing a couple of season 5 episodes prior to this, so I do think that we get a little bit more Caesar stuff prior to this.
I'm waiting for those episodes to be the ones that turn JP against this season.
Jughead's still fucking sitting out there, just sitting there like a
Forget that there's
fucking...
always an episode named Jughead.
So yeah, Ben kills Caesar. Consider that my apology.
Wow.
Got all these little one-liners in here. Like, it's so dumb.
There's a really interesting shot here right at the end when it cuts back to Locke. And Ben's like, all right, fucking let's get the boats and let's get out of here. It's obvious, like real life, a stormy day.
Yeah.
And there's a lightning strike right behind Locke that
It was pretty sick, yeah.
Kind of, hey, free special effects.
Yeah. There's a commercial here. We cut to Ben and Flock arriving at the sub dock outside of the barracks on the main island. So Flock, we get a little shot of him putting his socks and shoes on.
Love that.
And like you said at the beginning, JP, like this episode sort of remembers that the show is supposed to be a character show. So like this is just like a little scene of the two of them just talking about some personal shit. Flock says that Ben doesn't want to be judged for breaking the rules, the so-called rules of the island, but he wants to be judged for Alex's death.
Very quickly, Ben is becoming aware that something has transpired with Locke.
Right. He knows things he shouldn't.
Right.
The way he's delivering all this stuff is like really weird. Like he's got all this like sort of like interpersonal insight to Ben, which shouldn't exist because Locke and Ben didn't really have that relationship.
Yeah.
Flashback back to the late 80s, Ben and Ethan return to the hostel's camp with Alex. Charles admonishes Ben for not killing Danielle and Alex.
See, this is why I said he was doing a good thing.
He kidnapped a woman's baby.
But Charles wanted him to kill them both.
Right.
Okay.
We'll split hairs.
So Ben's like, okay, you want the baby dead? Here, kill the baby. And Charles won't kill the baby either. So like the baby's alive.
Yeah, what a power move for fucking Ben. Oh, not so fucking easy, is it? Charles.
Yeah, it's wild. Man, the Hostels, man. Good title for this group of folk. They got some very wild ideas about what to do with people on the island. Kidnap, murder, it's all good. As long as it's in service of the island, I don't know.
I think this is a good point for me to bring up how many times Ben killed someone. And they mention it a lot. They're like, yeah, he killed this person, and then he killed this person, and then he kidnapped this person, and then he killed his daughter, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this man has killed a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, he has.
He committed mass murder in The Purge back in 1992, which is in the future from this. 2007, Flock and Ben arrive at the barracks. Somebody's there already. They get there in the dark and a light turns on in Ben's house.
It's Hitchcock.
Yeah. Ben heads over to check it out. The house is left in the same state as it was the last time he was here. The risk board is still laying there, like bullet holes in the wall and all that stuff. He goes to the room in which the light turned on, and nobody's in there. Her son's in there.
She can light up any room.
And she's like, Ben? And like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I live here.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Sun and Daniel Day Kim, didn't they only speak in Korean to each other?
That was weeks ago.
When the show started?
Yeah. Sun could always speak English. When she was crashed on the island, she just pretended that she couldn't because she hadn't told her husband she could speak English because she was planning on leaving him.
Oh.
He has subsequently learned English because 3 years have passed in between the beginning of the show and where we're at now.
Yeah, and if you're trapped on an island with some stupid fucking white people, you're going to have to learn English.
Yeah. And
it was a sick prank, and then Sun was like,
ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
JP, I'm concerned with how many George W. Bush buttons you have on your soundboard. Are you okay? Is everything okay?
I've never been
This is
better.
a trauma podcast now. I've decided. We're done talking about Lost. Are you okay? What's going on?
I'm great. I'm so good.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the laughter hiding tears?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Frank's there too.
Yeah, he was like eating Oreos in the fridge or something like that, or in the kitchen. Yeah.
And so they come over there and they're just like, we came here, we met a weird old man who showed us this picture.
How long has Frank Lapidus been on the island?
Like 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 days.
Okay. And they couldn't get that man a new shirt?
He loves the epaulets.
Yeah.
He loves the epaulets. They exude power.
Yeah, no, he's only been here on the island a day or so.
Is this not the question you thought I was going to go?
That was not what I was thinking you were going to ask. This valid question. It's sort of fair. It's sort of Faraday-esque with the epaulets and the tie. Like,
yeah. Well, and with that being said, I mean, Sun should have been in Alex's dress because she's in Alex's room. Be like, oh, it fits everyone.
It's the sisterhood of the traveling dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Precisely.
The Son and Frank are like, we met a man who showed us this picture. And she holds up a picture of the new recruits of Dharma 1977. In that picture,
Ben's like, what the fuck?
That was my reaction.
Hugo Hurley Reyes, Kate Austin, Dr. Jack Shepard, T2J, 18 minutes, 54 seconds.
I was wondering if you were going to count that.
I fucking didn't even realize he was in the picture till I got done with the episode.
Yeah.
And then I was reading the Lostpedia synopsis. I was like, oh shit. So I had to go back and find the timestamp. Oh, at the end of that scene, they're like, John Locke's dead. And Penn's like, no, he's in the front yard. And they're like, what?
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh, I guess he's not a hallucination.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got to follow John Locke to find Jin. And Penn's like, oh, look out the window. He's standing in the yard like a fucking pervert.
Yeah. So yeah, commercial. Frank isn't having Locke's explanation as to what's happening, and he's like, nope, this is dumb. Going back to the plane, I'm fixing the radio, we're getting the fuck out of here. Son, you should come with me. And she's like, I gotta go with him to find Jin. It's the entire reason I came back. So no, I'm sorry. That sounds like a good idea, but I gotta find Jin.
I used the same excuse in Oshkosh. We'd be walking down the street, and they'd be like, JP, you got to come home. And I'm like, I have to go with Adam to find Jin.
And then they're like, where's Adam? And I'm just running down the street.
He's on top of City Hall.
So yeah, Sun stays, Frank leaves. Flock tells Ben, he's like, all right, well, let's get on with it. You came
do
here
it
to
then.
be judged. Let's go. And
We'll
Ben's
find Jin in a minute. We got to go judge this boy.
So Ben's like, all right. So he opens up the secret door and goes into the panic room. And he goes into the panic room. Then he goes down the tunnel.
Okay. Jack, I was pretty mad by this. Were you pretty mad by this?
I think this may have been the moment I was checking my phone. Because I was like, I can't. For me, it was when he got all the way into this cave that's just water and he's staring at it. He reaches into it and then pulls out a plug. Mm-hmm. Nothing seems to happen. Yep. He seems satisfied. We're left with like a sphincter looking hole in the floor. And I'm like, I'm glad you're fucking pleased.
He just goes, I'll be outside.
What is this? What is this?
I don't know.
What are we doing here? Why is this a hole within a hole within a hole within a hole? What are we doing here? What is happening?
I don't know. We've seen the closet that leads to a subcloset before. I was bamboozled when the subcloset led to a cave.
Why?
With a drain.
Well, I didn't realize the house was situated so close to a fucking mountain where a cave could exist.
Yeah, we've talked about the layout of this house before and how it's impossible.
It is impossible.
Yeah. And it's built on top of a labyrinthine sequence of ancient tunnels that lead to various other ancient places on the island. Cut to a flashback. The early to mid 90s. Lostpedia just listed as 1992 or later because it happens after the purge, before the crash.
Sure.
Alex is an infant in 88.
Yeah,
she looks
like
to be
5'6".
6. So let's call it 93, 94.
Another example of terrible child acting. Push me higher, Daddy. Push me higher. And you're like, shut up.
Super good wig though.
I don't care.
Did the wig help?
No.
So Richard rolls up looking exactly the same as he did in 77, looking exactly the same as he does in 2007. Richard is ageless. Comes up and says, hey, man, sub's leaving. Ben's like, all right, I'm going to go check it out. And he's like, you don't have to see him off. He's like, why'd you come over here and bother to tell me that it's leaving then? What the fuck? Ben says, I'm going to go see him off. And so he wanders over to the sub dock where Charles Widmore is in handcuffs being led to the submarine by some Dharma guards. They've got a weird logo on the back of their vest.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be the logo for the temple, maybe? Because it sort of looks like a pyramid.
Whatever it is, it's strange.
Ben's like, all right, well, Charles, thanks for coming out. We'll see you never.
Yeah, you suck. I'm in charge now.
You have a second family. Big no-no.
He just couldn't help himself. Had to start that second family.
Since you want to head off the island back to the mainland and have wives and babies, why don't you just go do that? You're out. You're banished. Charles is like, man, fuck you. One day I'm going to kill your daughter. And Ben's like, you better not.
Hey, I'm being serious right now.
Go back to 2007. Ben comes outside. Flock's gone. Jin and Sun have a little conversation. Ben says dead is dead. Everybody drink. Flock comes in out of the... he's like, Sun, you better go inside. You're not going to like what comes out of the woods. And then Flock comes out of the woods.
Hilarious.
I
was like, that's a good sight gag.
Yeah, that's a good... Yeah.
That's good. Good job, guys.
Thank you for putting at least one joke in this episode.
Yeah, being like, thank you.
Knowing what we know, he is still correct.
Yeah.
Jokes other than the wigs.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Flock's like, I'm sick of waiting. I will take you to where you need to go. And Ben's like,
I know where we gotta go.
He's like, fucking okay.
All right, fucking weirdo.
Why are you so weird? Commercial. Sun and Ben and Flock head out. They grab some torches and some shit, and they bust a move. We flash back to about a week prior to the previous scene. So the marina scene takes place in 2007, just before they fly to the island on Ajira.
Jack's gonna throw up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judging by how many times you said, okay, and this is in this time period, and this is in this, and this was from a week earlier, and this is from this, and this is from this. Do you understand why I was really mad about this episode.
I'm starting
Because
to get
since
it.
when are we suddenly at a marina?
I mean, when you put it like that.
I thought we crashed a fucking plane. I thought we were on an island, and then suddenly we're at a whole ass marina?
Yeah. It's like hypothetically Marina Del Rey. It's like Los Angeles.
What is happening?
Bunch of people got off the island.
Oh my God.
Then they came back. So Ben calls Charles to taunt him.
Dude, okay. So Ben snuck into the OC's Allendale's fucking hotel room
Yeah, in London.
when he was in the middle of a run of Spam-A-Lot in the West End
Yeah.
and told him,
I'm gonna kill
like,
you.
I'm going to kill your daughter. And then Widmore was like, he's probably just kidding. I'm not going to put like extra security around Penny or anything like that. Like,
Well,
yeah.
he can't. They're estranged.
Right, but he could still have mercenaries be like, just follow her from afar.
I don't think he knows where she is.
He's got all. If he can find the island, he can find Penny.
I think that's supposed to be the explanation anyway, as to why she didn't get security from him, is because he doesn't know where she is. I think
Weak.
that's supposed to be the explanation.
It's weak.
Sure. Widmore's like, you better not. And he's like, I'm gonna. And then he hangs up on him.
Just because you told me not to, I'm going to kill your daughter so
I'm gonna
hard.
do it again. I'm gonna do it some more. Come back to 2007, back on the island. They arrive at the temple wall. Son's like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, it's a temple wall so that you can't see the temple. And they're like, how are we gonna get in? And they're like, secret tunnel through the mountains.
Secret tunnel.
So they go in the tunnel. And Ben's like, hey, son, if you ever see Desmond again, I don't know why you would, but tell him I'm sorry. It's like, for what?
What? He'll know.
And then we cut to, for what? Come back to the 2007 marina flashback. Ben sees Penny's boat out in the marina. Our mutual friend is the name
Our
of it.
mutual friend. What's your boat's name? Our mutual friend. What a terrible boat name.
Stupid ass name for a boat.
Guys, this is the one point of the episode where I was like, did I look at my phone longer than I thought I did? Because I may have like glanced at it because it was like we're at the marina and this whole fucking conversation with Penny happens. And then they were like, oh yeah, Desmond. I was like, wait, is that Desmond?
That's Des, baby.
Brother. Yep.
I had to rewind because I was like, I feel like I missed something.
Sure. Yeah, like you was on
Yeah,
out
I
or
can see it
whatever.
out of context. This is very jarring.
I was very emotionally done with this episode by this point and was cursing both of you by this scene.
I'm amazed that it took that long.
Yeah. Ben starts heading out to the marina, out onto the pier, but then Desmond sees him or whatever, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, blam, and shoots his groceries, and I'm assuming misses him entirely because you don't see blood, you don't see his shirt,
but he does fall over.
He does fall over. The groceries take astray.
Also, Ben's rocking a P226. Man, I've wanted one of those guns. I'm on the hunt for one. Hey, fans, if you want to make a gift to the podcast and send me a gun, I really want a Sig P226.
Our P.O. box is in California, so I'm sure it's fine.
Damn it.
Look, you can't even get a toy gun mailed to you in California.
But there are 4 gun stores a stone's throw from my apartment because I live in Burbank, baby.
I'm not saying it ain't right, but yeah.
Every single time Ben pulls a gun on someone in this episode, which is like 3 times, he's got like the 45-degree sort of like
His
hold
hand
to it. I
is
was like, wow.
shaking really badly when he's pointing the gun at Penny.
Yeah.
I don't know if
he
you guys
doesn't
noticed
want to
that.
do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is not something he necessarily wants to do. He feels
No?
like it feels like he has to do it. It's
He's killed so many people.
That's fair.
If Alex hadn't died, he wouldn't have done this. This is a reaction. He wants to do it because only in the sense that he wants to avenge his daughter's death and get revenge against Charles. Penny is a pure innocent, just like Alex was supposed to be a pure innocent.
Every time he's had to kill somebody, it has always been for a reason. Either his life is in danger or it's crucial to protecting the island.
This is interpersonal shit.
Penny did nothing to deserve this.
Yeah, she had the unfortunate occasion to be Charles Widmore's daughter.
You're never going to get me to like Ben.
That's fine. I mean, he's technically the bad guy for most of the show.
Yeah, no,
it's fine that you don't like
yeah.
him. So yeah, he comes up to Penny and pulls a gun on her. And he's like, "Hey, you're Charles Widmore's daughter.
Must suck to suck.
He killed my daughter, so I got to kill you." And then you hear from inside the boat, "Mommy, come help me, Lil Charlie." comes up out from below deck. Penny and Desmond's son, who they named after Desmond's friend Charlie Pace.
I heard a kid's voice and I got really annoyed, and then I heard her call him Charlie, and that actually like took the breath away from me a little bit. That's some real good writing right there.
My thing is, there's a little bit of confusion, and I don't want to take away from the sentimentality of the situation, but it is weird that her dad's name is Charles, and they named her son after Charlie. We couldn't think of any other names to call her dad. That's not so close to another main character.
Sure. Yeah.
Charlie died to save everybody and is the reason they're back together.
Yeah, but like
No, I know.
Jack's saying, like, why wasn't when they created the character of Charles Woodmore, why didn't they call him like
George.
Eric Whitmore?
Why didn't they pick a name that was so different than a main character that already existed?
I get what you're saying. Okay, sure.
There's so many names.
There's so many names.
Why are the two main characters in the first season Jack and John?
Why would you do that?
All right, everybody come up with a new name for Charles right now.
George.
George, love it.
Yeah.
If he's going to be old, like, you know, it's like my dad's name is Scott. You can name him Scott. Like, it's not, it's like there's a bunch of fucking
There's
names
already a
you could
Scott on
pick.
the island. There's so many characters in this show. They ran out of names.
Henry.
Henry.
No, there's already a Henry on the show.
There is a Henry. That's true. Mr. Echo.
Damn it. Nikki, Paulo, fuck.
David.
Jack's son is named David.
Okay. Once again, how many of those names that I have picked that there is a character pre-existing?
Right. No, George was
the
one.
first one I fucking said.
George was the one.
Could have been a different one.
Minkowski's first name is George.
Little Charlie coming out from below deck makes Ben pause just long enough for Desmond to spear tackle him and beat his ass and then attempt to drown him.
That was the only part of the episode I liked.
So this is when Ben goes off on his side quest before the flight back, and he's like, I gotta deal with something, and then it just cuts to him beat the fuck up one scene later.
Yeah.
This is what happened, and I love this so much.
Pretty great. Cut back to 2007, Hydra Island. Frank returns to the island with the plane on it. He rolls up. And the baggage handlers have located some guns, and so he goes over to chat with them.
The guy that delivers that information to Frank has to be someone's nephew or somebody's son, because this show doesn't have a problem getting talented actors. That was the most, we're doing somebody a favor here. This guy has a line but not a name. You know what I mean?
It's more upsetting to think about them going through the entire casting process of auditioning like 50 guys who are all just saying this one line.
Mr. Lapidus.
And
they got guns.
And they went with this guy.
Yeah, this guy fucking sucks.
Which only makes you think, how bad were the other 49 guys you brought in that couldn't do this line?
Right.
Matt Huffman portrays Jed in Dead is Dead.
Jed?
Huffman has appeared on several TV shows, such as Criminal Minds, CSI New York, and Gilmore Girls.
Jed?
Once again, another name they could have used for Charles Whitmore.
No, there's already a Jed.
JP, you better count your lucky fucking stars. You are in Wisconsin. I may be tired, but I can still throw hands.
Yeah, it looks like this guy's just a workaday dude. He's done one episode of several different...
He needs to fucking work harder.
Doesn't even necessarily have names a lot of times. James's dad.
Man 4.
Groundskeeper.
Inmate 6.
Or he did it great in the audition room, and then when he got on set, he's like, I'm going to make myself stand out. And they were like,
rein it in, Jed.
Kill this fucking guy.
We're going to need a little less Jed.
So Frank rocks up to the baggage handlers after speaking with Jed, played ably by Matt Hoffman. And
wow, got a big Matt Hoffman fan over here.
I saw that name and I was like, did I go to high school with this guy? It's different Matt Hoffman.
I think we all went to high school with Matt Hoffman.
Matt Hoffman,
yeah,
generic ass name. That should have been fucking Penny's dad's name, Matt Hoffman. Matt Hoffman Woodmore.
Lance Reddick's character's name is Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew Abaddon. Yep.
Oh my God.
They give us some guns. I've got the box, and this is where Brom does this thing that annoyed me the most. He points at Ben with the gun by holding it like a pistol.
Yeah.
That irritated the shit out of me. Alana asks him the riddle, what lies in the shadow of the statue, and Frank's like, I don't know, these nuts, and they hit him. And
beer in hands were two in the fridge.
yeah, and so he gets the answer wrong, and instead of killing him, they're like, take him along, we'll drag a corpse with us, and it's like, okay. Just leave him on the island. You don't need him for anything. Knock him out and leave.
Right. We leave all the other people on the beach, but we gotta drag fucking Frank behind?
Stupid. Cut to the temple. Ben prepares to be judged. Ben and Flock are tromping through the tunnels, talking a little bit. The floor gives out in front of Ben, and he falls through the floor. And Flock's like, hey, I'm going to go, like, find something to dig you out of.
I'm gonna go get a rope or something. Yeah. He should have had the goofy, like, Yahoo!
You okay? Never better.
Actually, again, a little chuckle. Never better. Never better.
Yeah.
Actually, we've established that Ben might really be into pain, so it came a little.
That would make sense.
Yeah, hits the grump. So he's like, yeah, go get a rope, whatever. I'm going to go deal with this thing. He goes into the smoke chamber.
The vape room.
Yeah.
And becomes a vape lord. He goes in there, he sees this like bas relief of like a hieroglyphic of a smoke eating Anubis, and he's like,
I guess I'll do that.
all right, I'm here. And then like there's the little vape grill in front of him, and the smoke starts to come out, starts to fill the room, surrounds him, and then like inside the smoke tornado, he starts seeing memories of Alex.
This is once again a moment where like, man, this was like top-notch CGI in 2009, but in 2025, woof.
I'll tell you though, some of the other CGI we've seen better, we've also seen worse on this show.
Yeah.
I'll give this a real middle of the road.
I mean, comparing it to now, like 16 years later, it's
totally
not good. But like, oh yeah, I've watched shit that have come out in the last like 2 years.
Yeah, they're still making stuff now that looks worse than this.
Yeah, compared to like the Ajira landing or anything underwater, like
the Kuwait stuff, like from Sight early flashbacks, like that shit is horrible. Mm-hmm. So we see these memories of Alex, and then Alex appears behind him. The smoke becomes Alex.
Yeah,
and
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, me neither. I thought we were done with Tanya.
Yeah.
But she comes up to him, he's like, I'm so sorry. I got you killed. It's all my fault. And she's like, doy.
Yeah.
That I was into. I was like, thank you. Someone calling out his shit finally.
And you didn't see this, Jack. You never saw the moment that Alex got killed, and they did replay it in the smoke when Kimi's using her and then just shoot her in front of Ben. So you did get to see the moment in which it actually happened. So Ben didn't pull the trigger, but he absolutely did get her killed.
That's also why we couldn't have named Charles Widmore Kimi, because there's already a Kimi in the show.
Kimi Widmore would have been,
yeah. But I didn't, as a directing choice, I didn't really appreciate that she like slammed him against the pillar.
Yeah.
It'd be more menacing if she just walks toward him and he backs up, because like something to indicate that she's herself but not her or something. The physicality of it was like,
because that's the thing. It's like she's not Alex, she's the Man in Black, and the Man in Black is this all powerful thing. So it can physically manipulate this man who's like only marginally bigger than her.
Yeah.
Is it important to know that the Man in Black can physically manipulate people?
I think that we already know that. This is just establishing that Alex is is a guise of the Man in Black in this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, she slams him up against the pillar and is like, you're going to make up for this by following John Locke's orders to the letter.
Don't you dare try and kill him.
Yeah, I know that's what you're thinking. Don't do it. Follow him. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the thing that ends up redeeming you or whatever. And he's like, I promise. She's like, got it. I promise. Disappears. Gone.
They do a reverse shot of the torch being relit that actually looked pretty cool.
That was kind of cool.
That.
That was all right.
Yeah.
But then, so he wanders back over to the hole. Locke's like, hey, I'm back with a vine. And he like lowers a vine down. He's like, how'd it go? He let me live.
Oh, that's neat.
Lost.
Did we like it? Was it good? that's what we're here to answer. Jack, please start us off.
No, I didn't like this episode. I don't know Ben. He seems like a real piece of shit. I don't want to spend time with him for 45 minutes seeing him be like, with his stupid face that I don't like looking at, wanting me to feel sympathy for him because, I killed my daughter. Being like, you've killed other people. You kidnapped her. That's also not your kid.
Yeah, possession is 9/10 of the law.
I just did not understand what was happening. I was like, where are all the people that I've seen before? Where are they? Why are they in this picture? Why are they not in this? Why are they not here?
Sun was there.
When America thinks about Lost, they have Lapidus on the mind.
JP, what are your thoughts?
I loved this episode. Like, this is, Jack, you obviously are missing all of the context. I think for us, watching it out of order, I got so much more out of it. I think that on paper, this would have been a really good episode to watch, again, because the show remembers it's a character show. Us knowing all of the lore behind the Smoke Monster and John Locke, I get to really just watch Terry O'Quinn do some fucking acting, and I get to watch Ben not realize something for the first time, like he's out of the loop. So watching it with this 10,000 foot view, I was like, man, this is really entertaining for me to watch.
They have that line as they approach the temple. Ben's asking him some questions, and John's like, how does it feel to be somebody walking around and asking all these questions and just following blindly? How does it feel? He's like, I don't like it. And he's like, now you know what it's like to be me.
Yeah, I love some timey-wimey bullshit. I love doing, obviously this podcast is all out of order. This is like a top tier episode for me thus far for the back half of the podcast. I loved this so much. Yeah. Adam.
I think I'm going to land somewhere in between the two of you because I thought that the 2007...
It's a pretty wide gulf you can land between.
I think as a script itself, lack of context severely hurts it as a standalone episode, which, Jack, you've pointed out, and I agree with you 100%. The context that JP and I have from Lost on Lost does make this easier to watch for him and I because of, the Man in Black, John Locke, Flock lore drops that we already have that the chronological viewer wouldn't at this point. The chronological viewer doesn't discover that Flock is the Man in Black till I think the end of this season. I thought the Marina flashback beat ass. I thought that was really cool. And some of the moving around and the walking around was a little sleepy. And the baggage handlers continue to be annoying regardless of what they're up to.
Holy fuck, yes.
But on the whole, I would say I was generally entertained. I'd probably give this like a B-. Ish.
Okay.
A little bit better than average, but yeah.
Great.
Sounds good. Well then, hey, let's give out some awards, shall we?
Let's do it.
Fuck yeah. Lost MVP. Who was receiving the gold medal for this one? Who was your favorite? Jack, on top of, all of the choices you have for what you didn't like, who was your favorite person, place, or thing of the episode? Who was your Lost MVP?
The end credits.
That counts.
Yep, fair enough. JP.
Man, I don't know. I liked a lot of this. It's actually pretty tough for me to. I'm gonna give it to Locke, I think, just because I liked watching him just act the shit out of this. I was gonna give it to the honorable mention to Penny for naming their son Charlie, but I gotta give it to Locke. I loved everything he did. Or Flock, yeah, sure.
If I were to do it genuinely and not just be so upset about this, if I actually would be like,
upset.
Pick somebody who actually did the work and made it weird, I'd have to go John Locke or / Terry O'Quinn, just because the acting is just so off kilter, but makes you be like, there's something going on.
We'll mark it down for an honorable mention for Terry O'Quinn.
Adam.
This was not hard for me. Desmond. Him fucking tackling Ben and just walloping the shit out of him. So good.
Don't you touch my wife. Boom. Don't you touch my son. Boom. Do you know how expensive those fucking groceries were? Boom.
I can't wait to one day hit you with a car.
Again. Oh, wait, no, it's Locke.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Desmond.
Yeah, Desmond gets to do some pounding on fucking
and
the show.
isn't in season 5 a ton. So
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him at all.
yeah, without the the beard, and he's like just
He has a shower.
He's just like a guy.
yeah, just a dude, just a regular guy out here.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay. Well, the flip side,
Yeah.
King Suck a Shit Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
The Lost Forever. Who did we hate? Who didn't we like? You do have to pick just one, Jack. You can do an honorable mention if you want. Jack, who's your Lost Forever?
I'm gonna have to say the wig stylists
Yep.
for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The hair department.
Hair department.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you just a hypothetical here really quick, Jack. Would you rather, if we got to redo this episode today, everything's the same, would you rather bad wigs or would you rather bad CGI de-aging?
Ooh. We do have some interesting de-aging happening here in the years of our Lord 2024 and 2025.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the answer is.
This is a real Sophie's choice. Even though I just said it's the worst part, I will take the bad wigs. I'll take the bad wigs and I'll take the bad makeup over the bad de-aging CGI.
I would have to agree.
Because I know that at least the aging and the hair is a craft that a person can do and a person does do, but the CGI is a lot of computer, and that is, let's get into some politics here, but it's like the AI shit that's taking people's jobs in our industry.
Sure.
So I'm like, yeah, no, I'll take somebody who probably needs to take another course on aging makeup, but like over somebody who just like,
or wanted to do a better job, and the producers were like, you don't have the money for it.
Yeah, you don't have the money for it, and bitch, you ain't got the
10
time.
minutes.
Like, I'll take that.
I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, but I just think the wigs could have been.
I love me a
better.
wig-ass wig. Like, the wiggier the better for me. Like, I think it's so funny.
Adam's a real wig freak. Adam.
Brahm. Fuck, that guy irritates me.
Yeah, he sucks.
He takes up so little time, but so much space in my head. I'm looking at the picture of him holding the rifle as though it were just a stick he picked up on the ground, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that. Look at how dumb that is.
He's an idiot.
So dumb. That's a gun, my guy. I know you're like huge and it's like sort of comically small in your giant body, but hold it like a gun, you dork-ass dork.
What's your other hand doing that's so important?
Right.
He lives in your head rent-free, doesn't he?
That actor also played football player in an episode of Sports Night who sexually assaulted one of the main characters, and so he's a bad guy in that episode too. And so I hated that dude's face for a long time. And
fair enough.
there you go.
Okay.
JP, Lost Forever.
You know it's Jed.
Honestly, I think for you it was probably a toss-up between Jed and the closet.
Oh, yeah. The closet was... I'm beyond anger about the closet. Now I'm just fascinated. Like, let's see the hubris. How many more layers can we do? Is there a TCBY under there? Is there a Chick-fil-A under there? What else?
There's an Orange Julius.
Yeah,
down
you'd
there.
go through the drain in the closet, and there's a fucking food court.
Yeah,
You ever had Orange Julius?
limited...
It tastes like the pond water that fucking Ben just goes right into the fucking blender.
Yeah, and a limited 2.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. And an Oshkosh Bagosh.
There's an airport Sbarro.
And a Gloria Jeans. Am I just naming stores that were in my childhood mall? Maybe.
So it's like the barracks, directly underneath labyrinthine tunnels, directly underneath that, a dying mall.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd watch that show.
Yeah.
We do need more third spaces in this world.
Yes.
Sure. Jack, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I wish I could say the same. But yes, thank you guys for having me.
Absolute blast.
I know you don't have a lot happening after this. Like, there's only 16 episodes left.
This is the 16th till we have 15 more after this one.
That's crazy. I know you're trying to get out of here, but like, how do you guys feel right now about nearing the end, circling the drain, circling the sphincter in the closet, in the closet, in the closet, in the closet?
Yes, thank you. Precisely, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just, It's like my midlife crisis. I just keep pushing it down the road.
I've been every time we do a recording, and then every time I get into the post process in an episode, I've been having a blast from day one, and I've had so many great conversations. And the only thing I think about when it comes to the end of this is what's next.
Yeah.
500 cigarettes.
Christ,
honestly.
This is gonna post at the end of February, last week of February. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, if you are in Los Angeles, I am the co-producer / co-organizer of Hamilton's LA. Yep. It is LA's premier Hamilton sing-along. We've been doing this shit for 9 years.
Wow.
Almost as long as Hamilton has just been out, period. And we are doing our next one at the Roguelike Tavern over in Burbank on March 15th, the Ides of March. Very exciting. You can follow us on social media at Hamilton's LA. And it's a really good time. It's like karaoke meets sing-along meets Rocky Horror Shadowcast. So if that sounds like your jam and you just want to sing Hamilton's at a bunch of people, come on by. Swing on through.
I've never wanted anything more.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
JP, what are we doing next time?
Oh, man. Next time, if you're looking to be lost with us, we're going to be watching Season 5, Episode 14, The Variable, starring Daniel Fairday. Resident time travel expert Nick Brandel is coming back, baby.
Oh, man, if you thought that Jack was furious, come on back in a couple of weeks.
Nick Brandel, being a man of science, has hated time travel in movies and television since we've known him, close to 20 years. So we had to have him back for a time travel episode.
And not the good one, the shitty one.
Okay, this one was intentional. Jack, you were an accident. Nick's is intentional.
I think your friendship may cap at 20 years after you record that episode.
It's entirely possible.
It may be over.
We'll see what happens.
I'm so sorry that your friendship has to end like this, but
it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
All
well,
right.
Jack, thank you once again for
thank you so
joining
much.
us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening in. Adam, thank you as always.
Thank you, JP.
Yes. And thanks to everybody out there for tuning into another episode of Lost on Lost.
I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what is going on this show?
No.
Me neither.
Please clap.
Stupid.
Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.